Welcome back to Animal Crossing New Horizons. I'm Dane Darling. Shall we see what's going on a lovely island of Fawnhollow today? That was a good squeaker, you know. I don't even know how I did that. I genuinely have no idea how I did that. It was just a miraculous squeak out of nowhere. Yeah, what are we going to talk about today? I don't really know, to be honest. Always, you know, we're conversationally meandering. Should I go back to a holiday photo album? Now, I'm going to be honest. So the holiday photo album is like the emergency stash for conversations. You know, I'm sure we can find a conversation. I'm feeling more energized today. You know, I feel like the conversations are probably raring to go. I just got to find them. You know, just got to find the tackle, the approach. Just like in, I don't know, rugby. Maybe you do that. Good evening, everyone. Right now in Fawnhallow at 7:25 p.m. on Tuesday, May 23rd, 2023. Yeah. Excuse me, clearing my throat. I'm also not sitting properly. You know, good posture check, everyone. Make sure you're sitting up properly. You know, knees bent at the have a knee. I don't know where else would you bend your knee? Sitting up straight. You know, don't slouch. Don't, you know, put undue stress, I suppose, onto your spine. You want your spine to be carrying the full extent of the weight of your upper body, but properly or something. Your neck too. I mean, I'm not really like a physiotherapist. Is that who really deals with like posture and that sort of thing? I'm not really sure. Maybe, I don't know. Yeah, what are we going to talk about today? I don't really know. You know, what am I up to right now? I'm something. I can't mention what it is yet, just in case, because it's, you know, has not come to pass. It's not for this channel. It's just like in my personal life. To be honest, I'll talk about it on Saturday or Sunday or one. Actually, no, one of those days will probably be pre-recorded. Now I think about it. Yeah, I don't know. Anything going on in the gamer sphere? Examples of attention to detail in games. Do not buy the new graphics video card. You know, graphics video cards are always very interesting. Like, I don't think I've ever been extremely into computer parts and that sort of thing, and upgrading computers, etc, etc, etc. But I did used to follow like Linus Tech Tips, who, you know, recently stepped down from being CEO of a company, right? He's now just like it's basically nothing's fundamentally changed if you watch his videos. It's just he's not the one in charge of the business side or something anymore. I don't know, I haven't watched Linus Tech Tips for years, but I used to watch back when I watched him because when I was first building a computer for the first, well, not the first time actually, building a computer by myself for the first time, building a computer for the second time, I was watching his tutorials because it was just sort of like recommended, like he was a really good like resource. He had like a few complete builds like from start to finish, just showing exactly every step of the process along the way, and I was like, oh, this is incredibly informative. And me being the paranoid sort of over-analysing sort of person I was back then, especially, I watched like every single one, you know, making notes or whatever, just making sure I would not mess up building my computer. And, you know, you'd be happy to know, I suppose, the first time I built my computer by myself, I went swimmingly well, I think. At least I don't remember any hiccups, but maybe there were some, who knows. Yeah, anyway, I used to watch him back in the day. He used to have some, I mean, he probably still does have some pretty cool videos. Like, I remember one where he did, like, a computer which was, like, so, well, I think it was actually one of his associates or something, but submerged completely in, like, oil or something. Instead of, like, being water-cooled, it was, like, oil-cooled or some wild thing like that. It was very strange, I suppose, but it was very cool at the same time. Yeah, but, like, graphics cards and that sort of thing, like, I'm going to be honest, it's not really my sort of jam anymore, despite the fact I use a computer every single day. It's not even basically well, okay, there's probably days I don't, but it's essentially every single day is like a core part of my life, not only in my recreational but also my work and everything like that. It's sort of just like, you know, I have to use a computer. I have a very tech focused, you know, life, I suppose. But saying that, having a very tech focused life is not that tech focused, you know. I don't think about the specs of my computer all that often. You know, I built this computer, when did I build this? Ages ago. It must have been like 5 years ago, no, 6 years ago now, maybe, right? No, 5 years ago. That sounds about right. And I don't really have plans of upgrading anytime soon because I don't really need to. And I mean, it works perfectly well. Thus far, everything's still working. The only thing I'd upgrade on it would probably be to buy another solid state drive, just so I'd have more storage. Especially because after taking up like YouTube videos as a hobby, those videos do eat up space. And because I have a load of random applications, or not random, but applications on like video games on my drives, you know, and it really gets filled up. But yeah, I mean, I've never really been one for computer specs, and I'm not meant to admonish you if you are one for computer specs or that sort of thing. I don't really know much about it, despite the fact I built a computer, which, if anything, if you're building a computer, it should give you inspiration, because you're like, I mean, like, I know what the pieces are. I have no idea how to really compare them, I suppose. You know, the different graphics cards, like what's the most recent graphics card? Well, I just read it, apparently 4060 Ti from NVIDIA is the most recent one. You might be like, what one do I have? I have a 1080 Ti, you know, back in its heyday when it was like the go-to card. To be perfectly honest, I picked one up myself, and it has lasted me this long because it's really good, to be honest. But I don't really know, where are we going? I don't really know much else about, I suppose, building computers in a sense. You know, like, it's a thing with building computers is what the hardest part, I think, is not building a computer, is actually figuring out what components you need to, or which components you should buy, because it's sort of like, you know, comparison shopping, I suppose, when you purchase anything. You're like, oh, which one of these, like, I don't know, something off the top of my head, like phones, maybe not from the tech industry, which one of these like makeup brands are like best for you, or whatever, you know. It's like something like makeup, like something tangible like that, I suppose. It's like, I understand how you look up and how you figure out which one's best for you. You look up like people's reviews, you look up people, you know, with similar skin types, or skin tones to you, or like with similar aesthetics to you. I mean, you can see exactly how they use it and see if it would work for you. You experiment with it, and you can use similar things to try and figure it out as well. You have like brand reputation and that sort of thing. So, you know, it feels easy to narrow down that sort of thing to how you would purchase, like, you know, the right foundation for your skin or whatever. You might be like, what's yours? I use the beige colour from Bourjois, because I have quite dry skin, and apparently Bourjois is like incredibly moisturising, and it feels incredibly moisturising, so there you go, I don't know. Not like you're going to get a makeup tutorial from me anytime soon. And I understand that's conceptually how you do things. When you like comparison shop, you look up reviews, you look up etc, you know, XYZ, the specifications, and compare. But I feel like I don't apply that to when I buy computer parts. Because the computer parts, like, looking at specifications, I understand that as a good part of it. I'm not sure what the equivalent would be. I guess like looking at the ingredients list, which I don't really do for makeup now I think about it, except for I guess you might want to keep an eye out for specific things if your body reacts to specific chemicals badly or whatever. But the specification numbers are all very meaningless to me, because it's sort of just like, oh, you know, like, say you're buying like a CPU or something, you know. In my mind, I'm just like, okay, bigger number is probably better because it means it spins faster, right? So it could probably do more calculations faster. But it's not actually bigger number is better, because, you know, bigger number can also mean more cores or whatever, but then the cores might be at different speeds, or like they're not multi-threaded or something. And I'm just like, I don't understand how to compare these. You know, it's a sort of situation where, you know, whenever you have an interest in something, you're like, yes, I want all these possibilities, I want all these options, because I want to pick the one I specifically want, right? That's how it goes. But when it's something you're not like that interested in, or something you have a passing interest in, it's like analysis paralysis, right? You have too many options. You're just like, I don't know what on earth I could possibly pick. There's far too many things in the first place for you to narrow down. So I'm just like, I wish I could just be like, hey, choose a computer part for me, or something, like, which one of these CPUs is best for me? I don't know. You know, it's a sort of thing where I'm like, whenever I want to build a computer, and well, I'd imagine a lot of people, you know, who are really into tech are like super excited about it. I'm just like, eye roll, because it's just tedious. Like, I have to look through all these reviews to try and figure out which one's best, and even after reading reviews, I still don't understand which one's best. I just kind of want someone to basically just go up to me and be like, okay, get this, and this. But because I'm like so, I don't know, wanting to do everything myself and wanting to understand things for myself, I'm just like, no, you can't tell me what to do. I have to do it myself. But then I'm just like staring at it being like, I don't understand what I'm doing. Heavens knows how on earth I bought any of my computer parts for this, to be honest. I'm pretty sure I just bought them based off what I knew or thought was popular at the time. I don't even know what CPU I've got in there, I'm going to be perfectly honest. I assume it's i7, but I don't even look. Computer specific, no, computer, this PC? No. Why do you see your computer? See computer specifications on Windows. System information, is this it? Here we go, maybe? What processor? I have an Intel R-Core i7 8700K CPU at 3.7 gigahertz. 6 cores, 12 logical, whatever. What does that mean? I don't really know. I know there's i3, i5, i7. Which one's better? It depends. Some i3s are better than i7s, and some i7s are way better than like i5s or whatever. Who knows? What does another mean after it? I've genuinely got no clue. 3.7 gigahertz. I've no frame of reference. Is that fast? Is that slow? I don't know. I hopefully, I did my research back whenever I did this, and it's at least decent. Maybe it probably still holds up or whatever. What motherboard do I have? Legitimately, I have no clue what motherboard I have. I'm pretty sure I must have, what I done was, picked a CPU and was like, I have no idea what motherboard's about. I'm literally just going to, whoa, hello, Scorpion, copy someone else's build and then just use their motherboard or something. So, thank the Lord for people who, post their own builds or whatever for me to copy directly from, because heavens knows, I don't know what I'm doing. It is really weird to think about, though, because I try to be quite sort of prudent, I suppose, when I go into researching, any large purchases or whatnot. And I still kind of was when trying to find like computer parts and that sort of thing. But it's just like, it feels so fundamentally different from like other like large purchases I do for myself. I guess with graphics tablets, it's, I spent a lot of time like researching it, and it all like sort of made sense to me. But computers, it just feels like a brick wall, despite the fact that it shouldn't be a brick wall. I'm like familiar with computer parts. I don't know how to describe this except for like I don't understand it, despite I shouldn't say I do kind of understand, but like I'm not confused by it. I just don't understand it, which is like weird to say. Does that even make sense? I don't really know if that makes sense, but it's just so weird. And like the rest of it is just like all a mystery. Okay, hard drives are like easy, SSD, HDD. There's 2 types. Which SSD do I get? I don't know, but everyone buys this like the Samsung one, so I'm just gonna buy that one as well. Power supply, legitimately no clue. It's like, oh, you need enough power to make sure you can supply all your pieces. How much is that? I don't know. You use this calculator. I'm like, what? And like, I don't understand. Like, how much am I meant to be overshooting by? Like, I guess. Now I'm thinking about it, is because I basically have no idea or frame of reference for any other components in a computer, despite the fact I know what the computer parts are. It's just I have nothing to compare them to. I don't know what a fast like CPU speed is. I don't know what good results are for like a graphics card. I don't know like what a decent amount of power supply is and a reputable brand or what have you. It's all so like ambiguous. Well, I'm not sure if ambiguous is the word. It's all sort of like cloudy to me, such that I can't really draw any comparisons to it, so it just ends up being a bit of a wash in me, and I'm just like, what am I doing? I don't know. Right, we can't put those together because it's too much. You know what we can do though is we can actually grab 1000 and pop this here. No, how do I do it? Oh, okay. I thought I dragged it onto a thing. Apparently you don't. And then bada bing, bada boom. Save 1 space. Not that we were really hurting for it, but you know what I mean. So I don't know. Anyway, Linus Tech Tips is really helpful in that regard, I suppose. Looping all the way around, where he gives a lot of helpful guides, and I don't know necessarily how he's doing now, but I did used to watch his videos. I used to be I guess it's kind of like I wanted to be more into computer parts and that sort of thing, but at the end of the day, I just don't think I am really. I'm not itching for constant upgrades on my computers, that sort of thing. I just kind of want like what works best. It's sort of like I've gone back and forth. Like I used to buy like pre-built computers when I was way younger. My parents didn't know anything really about computers or anything. And then I started building my own computers and what have you. And now I'm sort of just like looping around and being like, I kind of just want someone. I don't want someone to build it out for me, but it's like I want someone to just pick the parts out for me and just be like, use these. This is exactly what you want. I guess I need to go to like an expert and be like, hey, this is my exact use cases. What should I get? And they'll be like this, and this. I need like not computer doctor. I need like I don't know, computer contractor. I don't even know what you would do for this. And what like an analogous sort of like job title or role would be for this. I mean, I know there's that subreddit build a PC for me, which is like one which they just like give you specifications for, but I don't know, I guess I'm a bit too paranoid about it, being like, oh, what if I can get a better deal if I do the research myself, which obviously inherently I suppose it's not inherently, it makes no sense, because I suppose on the internet anyone could just sort of lie, or anyone could just be mistaken, and you have no way of sort of gauging whether it's something reasonable or not. But yeah, I don't really know where I was going with this, to be honest. It's not like, I guess it's sort of placing a bet on yourself, being like, I bet I'm better than the average person but I'm expected to get from these recommendations, which is, I think, when I phrase it like that seems ambitious. Do I consider myself better than the average person who is into like computers and tech, that sort of thing, at picking out parts? I mean, the answer is no. I mean, better than the average person in the world, yes, absolutely. Better than the average person who's into that as a hobby, no. I would not say I am. Like, don't come to me for like recommendations on computer parts. I have no idea. I just, I can help you build a computer. Don't get me wrong. I follow that perfectly well. I can't give you recommendations. I guess, I'm making a big deal out of nothing, because really what this boils down to is basically a level of interest in a hobby, and it's just sort of like, oh, I haven't really become that involved in this hobby, so it's only like a passing interest per se, so I understand like parts of it, but I don't understand a lot of it as well. That's basically what it just sort of boils down to, but I'm just saying it in like a overly wordy, loquacious way for to extend conversations, I suppose. It's just weird to think about, I suppose, because it feels so specifically strange to computer parts in general, the fact that I'm pretty like well accustomed to computers and using computers and technology in general, but it's just like, I don't know how to compare like which processor is better. I have no concept of what the metrics are I would use, or what benchmarks I suppose you would use. Actually, speaking of which, I did find this cool website ages ago, which actually did like the benchmarks and like comparisons for you, and they displayed it in a really nice website. I don't know which one it is. Okay, it's not this one, because this one is giving me a warning of a potential security risk, so I'm going to get rid of that. Bookmark, logical increments. I think it was this one, isn't it? Logical increments. That sounds about right. And it gives you like a really cheap version all the way up to like the monstrous version. I wonder if it's got part recommendations, PC builds. Okay, hold on. CPU. Where's mine? I think I'm generations out. Because mine's i7 8700K, right? They're on like 15,000 right now. No, 13,000, I can't read. Well, okay, hold on. GPU, graphics card. Is mine on here? None of these are NVIDIA. I don't think. These are all Radeon. No, hold on, that's NVIDIA. Yeah, they're on 4,000s now. 1080 Ti is a thing of the past. That's wild. RAMs. I should upgrade my RAM, actually. I think about it at some point. I should definitely upgrade my RAM. But nowadays, I've got friends who are much more into computers than I am. So, as it goes with friends, you ask for advice on things that you don't know, and they ask you for advice on things that they don't know. That's kind of like how the interchange of information goes. Nowadays, I suppose if I wanted to go for an upgrade, I would just ask them and be like, hey, I'm kind of like looking for this. Can you like help me? And they'll be like, hell yeah, because, they're into that sort of thing. And I don't mean to phrase that crap, but they're like, that's one of their interests, right? So, they can just like, do it off the top of their head. And it sounds like, I suppose, being annoying, being like, oh, so, I don't want to bother you, got to do all this work to try and like, figure this out for me. But now I think about that, like, thinking about the flip side, like, what if, like, a friend came to me for, like, hey, I want some drawing advice, like, how would I, draw something like this, X, Y, Z, I could just probably just do that off the top of my head, it's not like I need to exert a huge amount of brain power to be like, oh, analyze. It's sort of just like, I guess it's just kind of like experience, right? You get a lot of experience and you can just sort of just do it, right? If someone came to me and was like, hey, how would I do this SQL query or SQL query or whatever, I'll be like, oh yeah, you just do it like this. It's not like I need to like bring up the tomes or something. I guess it's because when I'm asking someone else, I'm trying to think from my perspective rather than thinking from their perspective. If you're into computer parts and that sort of thing, and I was like, hey, I'm just kind of like looking for a new RAM. I know this is my motherboard. I don't know. Vivian, sorry, we have no time. What was I going to say? This is my motherboard, and this is how much I'm kind of like looking for. Can you give me some recommendations? They could probably just like look at the motherboard, and, quick Google just to see what the specs. Oh, hello, another Scorpion, right? And then we'll be like, okay, yeah, these are really good for you, because they probably just might know some very reputable brands off the top of their head, right? That's just kind of how it works when you're interested in something. I guess it's been more enlightening for me than anything. At the end of the day, but rely on people who you trust, I suppose, for information which you don't know yourself. That's the sense of community, I suppose. We can all help each other out, no? Anyway, I'm going to have this episode up here, so if you haven't watching, thank you very much. It's been Animal Crossing New Horizons. I've been Dear Darling. Likes, comments, subscription, shares greatly appreciated. Twitter, Discord down below. Hope you can see each other again, but for now, it's our farewell. So until next time, bye-bye for now.